Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala rasulihil kareem. Amma ba'd. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in the Quran, وَاذْكُرُوا اللَّهَ ذِكْرًا كَثِيرًا. And we should try to remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as often as possible. And remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has many forms. Lisanan, you say with your tongue, Alhamdulillah, Subhanallah, your dua, salah. And then with your mind and your heart. And you also remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala subconsciously. Like for example, you're thinking, oh, it's 10:42, so I need to go to sleep. Why? Fajr. So you remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No, you're not saying Allah, Allah, but you're thinking of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yes? So all of these things. So it's one person. So here again, he's not trying to discourage somebody from doing tasbihat or discourage somebody from remembering adhkar, but just trying to give a bigger perspective. Yeah, so you should try to have your daily wird. You have adhkar before you enter the toilet, you come out of the toilet, before you eat, when you wake up, when you leave the house, when you enter the house. All of these are adhkar. You should try to remember, practice them, bring it into your house, create ideas where you have remember them, put signs up, learn one dua a week, try to put it in, all this. But he's just trying to give an example to somebody or try to give a better understanding of this person. So this person asks a question that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran, he says, Uskurullaha dhikran kathira. He says, Uskurullaha dhikran kathir. So what's dhikra kathir? How much you have to call it dhikr kathir? Is it that every time you're sitting, every time you're standing, you keep on saying the word Allah, Allah? What is it? So he replied, he says, dhikr kathir ye hai कि हर लहजा ये ख्याल और एहतिमाम रहे कि हमारा कोई सांस अल्लाह की नाफरमानी में तो नहीं गुजर रहा है. Basically, every single moment you have this worry that's either subconscious in front of your mind or back of your mind. That notice to be Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Fahim? So that's dhikr kathir. It doesn't have to be with your tongue. But you always have this thought consciously. It's at the back of your mind. And when the event comes forward, it comes in front of your mind. I can't always be Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it's in now just, I don't know, just doodling something. And then music comes about. You say, no, can't listen to music. Haram, off it. Oh, don't want it. Do you understand? No, that's dhikr. You got dhikr in your heart. Because why? Not disturbing Allah is so entrenched in you that when it does occur, it comes back in front of your mind. Not to be Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is dhikr kathir. That you always have this, that I should never disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for a single moment. This is dhikr. Do you understand? Yes, I'm not saying that other than not dhikr as well, but I just want to give a better understanding of this. Yes, and then he says here that I think that I am very ghafil, I am very negligent of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then he says that many times it goes without me saying dhikr. And he gives an example here. Yes, I try to do dhikr with my tongue when I remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I forget so many times. And he gives an example. When I wake up from my sleep, then I don't even remember to do dhikr with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So then he says here, when you have the worry, yes, when you have the worry not to disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you are actually remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yes, he goes that one who is staying away from the disobedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he is dhakir. Yes, like for example, so again, I'm not saying don't try to practice this, I'm not saying don't learn this, I'm just trying to say give an understanding. When you wake up, Alhamdulillah alladhi ahyana ba'da ma matana wa ilayhi nushur. The first thing you should do is remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when you wake up. However, when you wake up for Fajr, what are you doing? You're in dhikr. Why? So you set alarm before you went to sleep. So you should say the dua before you go to sleep. There's many adhkar. The simple one is Allahumma bismika amutu wa ahya. And there's many other adhkar. The more you say, the better. There's so many mentioned in hadith, you study some of them. But even if you don't, I'm not saying don't, but if you forget, yes, or you're reading a book, you're reading a kitab, you're going to sleep, you fell asleep. But when you set your alarm, that means you're not ghafil. Because why? You think, I have to go Fajr. And when you heard the alarm, and it says like 11 o'clock, I got to wake up at 5, what time is it? 4:30, 4:40. Yes? So now, when you hear the alarm at 4:40, you put a snooze for 2 minutes, I only got 2 minutes left, I got to wake up. You got to get to the masjid. That means you're not ghafir. So even if you forget to say the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with your tongue, when you get out of bed, why? Because you're dhakir. So you're not the word Allah, A-L-L-A-H, or the word alif lam lam ha, it's not on your tongue. But what's in your tongue? That Allah is my khaliq, I have to get out of bed and I have to remember. So back of your mind. I have to go to worship Him, I can't miss my salah. So you are ghafil. Sorry, you are not ghafil, you are dhakir. So it doesn't mean, again, it doesn't mean don't remember Allah, don't learn this adhkar, but it means that the real dhikr is that you are always in a world of not disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yes, obviously, when you remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it has more barakat and khair and has effect on your heart, it creates nur in your heart, etc., etc. It's all from the hadith as well. But it's just trying to create another perspective that don't underestimate this. Once you're not disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and you're worried not to disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then understand that you are in the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not in lisanan, but halan, in the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Do you understand? You come home from school, and you think, I need to get to, what time is my asr? You check the timetable. So like, you bring the timetable home from masjid. I'm just not ghafil of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I need to know what time salah is. You check the salah times. You know multiple salat times of fajr, so that you don't get, if you get late in one place, you can go another place. All of these things are signs of that you are not ghafil of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ghafil is when you do something and you disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you never think that I've disobeyed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You like forget that, oh, I have a God, I have an Allah, a creator, a khaliq, who should not disobey. Then you are ghafil. Yes? You're laughing and joking. Obviously, excessive laughing and joking. Like, so you're laughing and joking so much that you think, oh, it gets to 12 o'clock at midnight, you don't even bother about missing Fajr. And that's a ghafil. But you're laughing and joking, and you say, oops, 11 o'clock, you get to bed because Fajr. You're laughing and joking to make each other happy. Then it's not ghafla. The ghafla is that you are negligent of the obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you involve in the disobedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's a general rule of thumb, the exceptions, and you have to understand it properly. And so also try to do dhikr with the lisan and the tongue. But understand this bigger, a more comprehensive understanding of the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah give us tawfiq to act upon this. Subhanallah wa bihamdi, subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika, nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk.